The Kitsune, the paranormal fox of Japanese folklore, with the ability to grow more powerful with each year that passes. It's often seen as a trickster that can bewitch humans and shapeshift. But as well as a trickster, they can be seen as friends, guardians, demons, or even lovers. Welcome to the mysteries of mythology, the Kitsune. Tales of the Kitsune vary from describing benevolent creatures seen as protectors of the land, bringing blessings and prosperity, to being more widely known as tricksters, like in the first of our stories. In the shadow of ancient mountains, nestled amongst fragrant cedars, stood a weathered temple. Here, in the solemn chants and flickering candlelight, a young acolyte named Akira embarked on his path to enlightenment. Stood at the entrance of the temple, his heart was pure, and he wished for nothing more than spiritual wisdom. Little did he know, a cunning spirit lurked within these hallowed walls. The temple's head priest, shrouded in an aura of serenity, was no man of the cloth. Beneath his robes resided a mischievous kitsune, a fox spirit named Ren. Intrigued by Akira's innocence, Ren began on a subtle game of temptation. He whispered doubts in the young monk's ear, painting vivid pictures of a life beyond the temple's austere walls. Visions of silken robes, bustling markets, and images of alluring companions danced before Akira's eyes. Torn between his vows and the seductive whispers, Akira grappled with an inner struggle. The once serene chants now echoed with calls to temptation. To the young acolyte, the temple walls felt as though they were closing in. The kitsune, Ren, shape-shifting like smoke, fueled his confusion. One moment he was a wise scholar, the next a beautiful courtesan, each guise chipping away at Akira's resolve. Just as Akira teetered on the precipice of succumbing, fate intervened. One day, a wandering Zen master, both wise and serene, arrived at the temple. Having seen the tricks of the kitsune before, he helped the acolyte to see through the illusions. Realizing the deception of Ren, the acolyte confronted him. The wily fox spirit turned into his true form. He offered a wry smile before disappearing into a mist of smoke, leaving the acolyte in the echoes of a mischievous laugh. The tale of the fox priest is a reminder that temptation lurks in every corner, disguised in alluring forms. The path to enlightenment is not paved with ease, but through discerning truth from illusion and holding on to unwavering faith. A common misconception in the West is that kitsune is the name given only to foxes that are imbued with powers. But the name of the common fox and the powerful spirit is one and the same. In Japanese mythology, it's possible for any creature or object to gain powers, especially if they have aged for a long time. Any creature or object with such powers is considered yokai. For the kitsune, each 100 years of life gives them more power. And with each century that passes, the kitsune grows an extra tail. The most powerful of the kitsune can have up to 9 tails, known as the Kyubi no Kitsune. Like many of the stories in Japanese mythology, their inspiration can often be found from the Chinese. The kitsune was no different. As the Chinese traded with the Japanese, they shared stories as well as goods, stories such as tales of Huli Jing, the magical 9-tailed fox. In Japanese folklore, the kitsune was closely associated with the Shinto deity of fertility, rice, tea, and foxes, Inari Okami. Inari Okami used foxes to carry messages between the spirit world and the living, but over time, the depiction of Inari and her foxes began to merge, becoming one and the same. It is believed that once the kitsune has received all 9 tails, they become a tenko, a creature of immense magical strength, capable of bending the very fabric of reality. They can be recognized by their golden or white fur, and if they chose to, could ascend to heaven. Central to the kitsune's power is their skill in transformation. Kitsune like to test the loyalty, honor, and wisdom of humans, and will often transform into a human that has power or influence over others. This could be a priest, as we saw in the earlier story, or more commonly, they are seen as seductive women. While young kitsune can take on other forms for short amounts of time, older, more powerful kitsune can take on another form for a lifetime, often transforming into beautiful women to attract and marry a human partner and spend many years married without giving away their true form. A common transformation ritual for the kitsune is to place a skull on its head and bite on a bone as it bows 100 times, being careful not to drop the skull. But the kitsune's powers go beyond just transformation. They are masters of illusion, capable of creating complex visions so real they can fool an entire village. Some tales speak of kitsune conjuring castles in the air or turning leaves into gold, using their magic to reward the kind-hearted or punish the greedy. Kitsune also had the ability to possess humans. In some versions, people inflicted with this condition were said to act and behave like foxes, barking and biting at others. At one point in time, being possessed by a kitsune was seen as a genuine disease and may explain how ancients approached mental illness. In the nicer versions, people possessed by kitsune could pass messages from the gods and bestow upon them temporary wisdom. Then there's the kitsune's association with fire and lightning, known as kitsune-bi, or foxfire. This ethereal flame, often blue or green, is said to illuminate the paths they walk, a marker of their supernatural presence. The older a kitsune gets, the better it becomes at hiding its identity. Here are a few ways to spot a kitsune. The first sign is a triangular fox-like face, slim, with high cheekbones and intense, almost glowing eyes. But many normal humans have these features, so the next clue can make it easier to spot a kitsune. Kitsune can struggle to keep their tails hidden, especially if they have 9 of them. So a common giveaway is noticing their tail. Another method to spot a kitsune is to observe their reflection in water. It is said that water has the ability to reveal their true form. If you have any dogs, this is also a good way to spot a kitsune. Dogs will often sense a kitsune and bark to ward them off. In turn, kitsune, who are terrified of dogs, will normally reveal their true form and flee when barked at. Kitsune also have a love for deep-fried tofu. If you've ever had the dish kitsune udon, you'll recognize where it got its name from. Kitsune can also be identified by the distinctive shadow they cast, revealing their true form. A last clue, according to some tales, is that a kitsune will often be wearing a golden orb called a hoshi no tama. This orb is said to hold the soul of the kitsune and must be with them at all times. In its fox form, the orb may be in their jaw or tied to their fur, and in their human form, it could be worn as a pendant. The earliest versions of the kitsune associated with Shintoism were generally seen as kind to humanity. In most tales, they helped those in need, and their power to transform was so they could be closer to humans and even have lifelong relationships with them. Buddhism, which intertwined with Japanese spirituality, brought its own interpretations, casting the kitsune in more ambiguous roles, sometimes protective, sometimes malevolent, but nearly always acting as a test of morals and faith. The Kitsune are divided into two main types: the benevolent Zenko, aligned with the deity Inari and often seen as protectors of humans and nature, and the mischievous Yako, who revel in playing tricks on unsuspecting humans. At its core, the Kitsune embodies the intricate balance of good and evil, wisdom and mischief. This duality resonates with the Japanese understanding of the world as a place of harmonious contrasts. The Kitsune's significance extends into the realm of festivals and religious ceremonies. The Inari shrines, dedicated to the deity of agriculture and fertility, often feature statues of foxes, not as deities themselves, but as revered messengers. In literature and art, the Kitsune has been a muse for centuries, inspiring countless tales, paintings, and theatrical works. From the ancient Kojiki texts to the vibrant ukiyo-e prints of the Edo period. The modern world has not left the Kitsune behind. In anime and manga, Naruto stands out as a prime example, featuring the character Naruto Uzumaki, who is host to the nine-tailed fox, Kurama. So what's your take on the Kitsune? Let me know in the comments. Join me in the next video as we explore the mysteries of mythology.